So sharing your feelings can either build an unbreakable bond or slowly push a woman away until she leaves. Last week, 2 men joined my program after just getting dumped because they were unskilled in sharing their feelings. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 2 scenarios of how not to share your feelings, because they will push women away. And then the third scenario, I will show you exactly how to be open in such a way that you can fundamentally create a deeper connection with her and she will love you even more. And you will stop getting fucking dumped. So let's start with scenario 1. Kevin and Aphrodite have been together for, let's say, 12 months, right? They've gotten real close, right? They love each other, but Kevin is going through a difficult time at work. He's gotten promoted, he's vice president at a bank, right? So there's a shit ton of pressure. So over the coming months, he shares his struggles with Aphrodite and sounds a bit like this. Yeah, just imagine one evening you're sitting down and Kevin shares how he feels. So just pay close attention to the words he's using and how he says it. Aphrodite work's been just really, I don't know, like, it's been a lot, you know? I mean, I got the promotion, but shit, like, it's so overwhelming. I feel so down and I feel so stressed out. Like, and sometimes I'm sorry, like, I just feel like I feel lost. I don't even know why I'm telling you this, actually. Like, I just don't know. I guess I just want you to understand and, I don't know, maybe help me. Now, Aphrodite, she's nodding along, right? Like the first time, actually, like she's actually quite happy that Kevin shares his inner world, how he feels about his new position, yada, 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 because she feels like she's involved. However, the problem is that it doesn't fucking stop there. Like over the next few weeks, it keeps happening. Kevin keeps sharing his inner world. Like, Aphrodite, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I hate my work. I hate my life. What would you do? Are you sure I'm not like fucking this up? Yada, 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 yada. Guess how that makes Aphrodite feel? By now, Aphrodite is getting a bit fed up. Yeah, she's still nodding along, right? She's still trying to be empathetic, but you can tell her, like, you can tell she's slowly pulling away. Yeah. Now you gotta ask yourself, like, is Kevin being vulnerable here? Is he sharing his feelings, or is he actually just fucking unregulated? Yeah. So what Kevin is doing is actually called being emotionally impulsive. Yeah. He's literally broadcasting every single fucking feeling live. Like he's forwarding every emotional like notification that he receives from his body directly to Aphrodite instead of fucking filtering. Every negative or stressful feeling becomes a conversation. Now, of course, at first she's going to be there for you, right? For sure, man. Yeah. But if you keep behaving like Kevin and keep bombarding her with like all your insecurities, you're draining the empathy bank account, basically. Like think of it this way. Like every time you share unfiltered emotions, you're withdrawing from the emotional bank account. And soon, like if you don't stop, like you'll go into overdraft. And suddenly she has to provide emotionally for you. You've literally turned her into your fucking therapist rather than what she actually is there for, your fucking lover. When you analyze the messages I just shared with you before, like what do you notice? The intonation, the words that I'm using. It's very negative language. It's very heavy energy. What happens, man, like if you're completely honest to yourself, man, what happens if you keep being exposed to that kind of energy, that kind of frequency? If your friend would keep doing that to you, you would say like, bro, can you get your fucking shit together, bro? Like, honestly. If you want her to be your lover rather than your therapist, it requires attraction. Attraction, however, like requires trust in your ability to stay grounded and have your shit together. Like imagine you're in a football team, right? And every time shit hits the fan, your coach or your captain, the person that you're looking up to is supposed to lead you and the team into battle, yeah? Starts crying, loses his head, and spreads panic and negativity, bro. For how long would you tolerate his behavior or keep looking up to him? At some point, we would say like, man, you're a great guy, but you're not a fucking captain. You do not have the skill set to lead us. And that's the exact same thing that your woman will feel and think the moment you stop like offloading all your emotions unfiltered. I think about it, the less regulated you are, man, yeah, the more you put her like on alert. Her nervous system is going to freak out. And when her nervous system is like on high alert, is constantly freaking out, she's going to feel unsafe. She's going to put her guard up and eventually she leaves you because actually like when she met you, you were like this strong, emotionally regulated, nonchalant, assertive, like competent man. But over time, you turned into this fucking Kevin with the emotional capacity of a 6-year-old, bro, who thinks that love is a free ticket to turn her into your fucking mom who has to listen to all your whining, man. So I'm not saying that you should bottle up your feelings. What I'm saying is there's a right place, a right time to share your feelings. And ideally, you surround yourself around other men where you have a safe space where you can regulate your emotions, where you can share your unfiltered emotions. A group that supports you, man. So that you stop burdening your partners, your girlfriends with your fucking emotional baggage, bro. Because the mistake that most men make is thinking that she left because you were emotionally open, but the truth is you're just basically spamming her nervous system with constant WhatsApp messages that depleted her capacity to love and desire you. Now, you don't fix this by booking fancy restaurants, planning date nights, or the worst one, like going from Kevin to Andrew, right? Which is the complete opposite, the polar opposite of a Kevin. I'm going to show you exactly now how Andrew behaves that also pushes women away and makes them leave you. By the way, if you've been nodding along because you've recognized yourself as like a Kevin or behaving like a Kevin at times, like the best thing you can do, bro, is do what my clients did. Stop waiting until it's fucking too late. Click the link in the description, book a call with me, and apply for working with me. Because every client that has joined my program has said, I wish I would have done this sooner, man. Because they realized I've watched 47 fucking videos on YouTube. I've listened to 321 podcasts. I've read 23 books. Yet my behavior didn't change because I intellectualized everything instead of actually focusing on changing my behavior. And that's what I'm going to help you do in my coaching. Change your behavior rather than making your brain bigger with more information. Now let's take a look at how an Andrew shows up in Now let's take a look at how Andrew shares his feelings that also pushes women away and like fucks up relationships. So 3 weeks ago, like a new client joined and he behaved like the typical Andrew. Surprise, surprise, he was also like the typical finance bro. Says me with the finance bro fucking starter pack here, right? Anyways, I used to work in finance in London. Anyways, different story. So he was basically with Aphrodite and they've been together for like 3-4 months. And after like 3-4 months, like Aphrodite started like nagging him basically. So she said things like, hey Andrew, can you share more with me? Like I feel I like really don't know you. Or like she said things like, hey, do you even love me? Like where are we going? Now Andrew was a bit pissed by this. He interpreted that behavior and those questions as like nagging, annoying, illogical questions. And he was a bit like I used to be back in the days, you know. I hated these questions. I was impatient. I hated when my exes asked me this illogical, stupid shit. Why did I hate this? Because I felt overwhelmed. I was confused because I was like, yo, I'm buying you all these gifts. Yeah, I spent most of my free time with you. So why the fuck are you asking me these stupid questions? At that time, I didn't understand that these questions weren't about like me spending more time with her. Those were actually just questions or like bits for connection. It was a cry for help from her. She wanted to feel me more, build a deeper emotional connection, which I denied her because I didn't even fucking know how to build this connection with her. I didn't share my emotions because I thought like sharing emotions or like showing how vulnerable I am, like selectively, makes me look weak because I worked in finance. Like if you share your emotions there, bro, you're gonna get eaten alive. Yeah, metaphorically, obviously. What I had fucking not understood then is that relationships obviously are different. And as I said earlier, don't become a Kevin and like completely dump all your emotions on her. Like the expression of feelings is what creates a bridge between you and her, between you two. The problem is not sharing your feelings, right? It's the problem is the quality of how you share those feelings. It's like, think of it like a bridge, basically. Like sharing your feelings is like building a bridge. Like when you share your feelings, like a Kevin, you build a bridge, but it fucking collapses every single time because it's built on a weak foundation. But when you don't share your feelings at all, yeah, when you act like an Andrew, saying emotions are weak, you shut down, you freeze, or you don't even build a fucking bridge, yeah? You fundamentally don't deny her access to you. And without a bridge, there is no connection, basically. Think of it like, imagine you're both standing on an island, like separate islands, yeah? How is she supposed to come to your island if there's no fucking bridge? There's no boat, no vehicle to reach you. At some point, she's waving at you, and you're not waving back. You just look at her. And at some point, she's gonna like look for another island that is willing to build a fucking bridge, because why wouldn't she? She's giving you all these signs that you should fucking like get your shit together and share your emotions. You gotta understand that one of the primary desires of a woman is emotional connection and emotional safety. But if you deny her that, she's gonna leave. But luckily for you, I'm gonna not only show you how to build that bridge, but a bridge that is so unbreakable that you're going to have the most like amazing emotional connection between you two. The most stable and sexy bridge that you can build between you two is by becoming a Hercules and using bricks, yeah, that I call selected vulnerability bricks. So how do you build selected vulnerability? Because that's a fucking fancy word, isn't it? So there are basically 4 components to selective vulnerability that makes it attractive and so unbreakable. Why? Because each of the like components triggers one of the 4 primary desires every woman has. And when you trigger them, like all four at once, you're building the foundation of an unbreakable emotional bond, aka an unbreakable emotional bridge. So what are the four components of selective vulnerability? First, vulnerability needs to display ownership because that triggers her desire for leadership. Second, vulnerability needs to display containment because that triggers her desire for emotional safety. Third, vulnerability needs to have a sort of mission because that triggers her desire for adventure. Fourth, vulnerability needs to have, and I fucking hate saying out this word loud because it's been butchered by the pronoun gang and the woke cancer, basically. Anyways, vulnerability needs to be inclusive. Bro. I hate this word. Anyways, it needs to be inclusive because it triggers her desire for connection because she feels included. So here's what that looks like in practice. So for example, 12 months ago, like I was going through like a difficult moment in my business because I got tired of just yapping about women. I'm sure you've noticed the change also in the channel. So instead of just dumping this on Sandra, or pretending that it doesn't exist, I actually asked her for her perspective, and here's how that sounded like. Hey Bambi, I want your perspective on this. I'm changing strategy and I am unsure which direction to go. I don't like where I'm headed at the moment because it feels unaligned with me. Obviously it's a bit stressful because it could fucking wreck my cash flow at the moment. But yeah, anyways. So basically I've got these options. And I would like you to just take a look and tell me what you think. I think of going for option A or B, but what does your gut tell you? Now that looks simple, right? It doesn't look like much, but there's actually 4 things happening at once that makes this kind of vulnerability, the selective vulnerability, so attractive. First, I display ownership by saying hey, I'm changing strategy because I don't fucking like where we're headed. It's unaligned with me. I want your perspective. And here are my options. What do you think? I'm not asking her to decide. I am simply asking for feedback. I am not communicating I need to be safe. I just want a sounding board. That is extremely sexy because it shows her that you aren't like a captain that is overwhelmed. Yeah, if you remember the coaching, the captain, the analogy I used earlier. But you're a captain who asks for support. You're not losing it. You're just asking your counsel, basically. Second, I'm contained. Man, have you observed how I share my feelings? The intonation. I was calm, I was grounded, I was almost borderline playful. I shared that I'm feeling a bit stressed, but that I'm also quite confident in myself that I've got this. Triggers her desire for emotional safety because I display that I am okay, that I can handle this. That's what a woman wants. She doesn't want a man that is a damsel in distress, bro. You might think this is unfair. Why are women allowed to be so emotional around us, and why we men aren't given the same capacity or the same grace? Well, it's because it's fucking nature. Go complain to nature about the reality that women and men are different. Third, I'm creating a shared mission. When I ask her for her feedback, when I ask her for her perspective on my options that I have available, that makes her feel part of something bigger. It makes her feel seen, and it makes her feel also like we're working towards a common goal, like we're overcoming a common enemy. Like the CEO and the COO are building something together. That shared mission, bro, it taps into the human need for belonging, yeah? It taps into the need to belong to a tribe. And on top of that, it triggers her primary desire for adventure because a shared mission, aka overcoming a challenge, is always fun. That creates an adventure. And the fourth one is I'm inclusive. Oh, I hate this word, honestly. Anyways, it's not a specific word that I'm saying, but just the fact that I am sharing my inner world. I am sharing what I'm about to do. I am looking for feedback. I am asking my counsel for her opinion. All of this makes her feel like she's needed. And feeling needed is what we all want as a human being. When I give her the feeling of being needed, that activates her need for nurturing that every woman has, man. And when you give her the opportunity to nurture you, that brings you two closer together. Now that you know how to share your feelings in the right way, you want to make sure that you don't make these 5 mistakes that usually every man makes in their relationships. And you can find out what those mistakes are by clicking on this video here.